guys, doing well today. So yeah, in today's video we'll talk about Ireland versus France for round 2 of the Six Nations. So yeah, this is going to be a very intriguing game. You know, obviously one side is coming off a loss, and that was Ireland against Wales in the first round. So I wouldn't say it's a huge loss, but it was just more or less where I think people expected Ireland to win that one. But they were very unfortunate in the sense where Peter O'Mahony did get a red card, you know, within the first half. So that did kind of change the game within the second. So you know, Ireland weren't able to hold on, and yeah, But obviously they'll be looking to bounce back from obviously that defeat. But then France, on the other hand, you know, they'll be wanting to actually continue their 100% record at the moment after beating Italy away, you know, 50-10. So that was a very good result for them. Actually, you know, Dupont really controlled the game within that first one, and yeah, hopefully he can control the game within the second. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, both sides are still suffering from injuries, especially Ireland now, you know, with the amount of injuries that they're going through. But yeah, we'll get through that with the lineups. So yeah, here's the lineups here, and yeah, no, you guys should be able to see that now. But yeah, pretty much I'll go through Ireland first. I mean, Ireland, you know, they've made some changes, obviously, you know, coming from the previous match against Wales, and some of them have been made purely on the basis of injuries. So yeah, you know, obviously they still have Healy and Potter, who are obviously the props for them, and yeah, it's a pretty good combination that they had, and I think it worked pretty well within Wales. And when you really compare it to France's, you know, props, you know, with Bailey and how it is. I mean, I would personally give it to the French props purely on the basis where I think they just performed better within the scrum compared to what Ireland did against Wales, because obviously Wales did earn some penalties off the scrum due to, you know, the Irish props just going down. So that's the only reason why I'd edge it towards France within that section. But yeah, you know, with the hookers, obviously you do have, you know, Hearing, who's still on the side, obviously, you know, so they haven't really changed anything with that section. As well as, you know, France, they have Machant, so he's a very good, very solid hooker. So there's not really any changes there. Again, if I had to edge it, I'd probably edge it towards France again, on the basis that Machant is just more of an upcoming hooker who's really just making a presence for himself. And yeah, he had a brilliant display, you could say, within the first round. So yeah, definitely for the props in hooker position, I'd definitely give it to France. But yeah, when you're moving on, obviously, to the, you know, to the locks. I mean, this is where actually one of the big changes is with James Ryan being out, obviously. Not for the whole tournament, but he's not up to par, you could say, or fitness for this match. So hopefully we'll see him within round 3. But because of that, Ian Henderson has obviously taken his place, and he's also the captain of the side. So this will be the first time he captains Ireland. So that's yeah, hopefully he does well. And yeah, no, his partner in crime will obviously be Burnley. So no changes there really. And Burnley was one of the standout performers really for Ireland within that game. You know, he really held his own since when James Ryan went off the pitch. So yeah, credit to him. Hopefully you can have another good game. But yeah, no, obviously with France, you know, when you look at France's locks though, you do have the likes of Leroux and Williamson, who just were very solid against, you know, you could say a depleted Italian side, you know, with, you know, not a lot of experience within that side. So I think it was pretty easy for them to win a lot of their lineups as well as scrums. And again, you know, this one I think would be more of a draw in the sense where I would have edged it towards Ireland just because of James Ryan, but because he's not playing, I think I'm gonna say it's a draw, because I do think that even though France's locks are pretty good, I think Ian Henderson brings a lot of experience. Yeah, that's a draw within that section. But yeah, with the loose forwards, you know, obviously with the loose forwards, I think all of them, you know, you have Ruddock, you have Van der Veer, and you have CJ Stander, obviously for Ireland, who are very good within that position, and obviously Ruddock has had to come in, you know, for, you know, the suspended Peter O'Mahony, so we'll see how he goes. But yeah, overall, I think Ireland's loose forwards will do pretty well, and especially within the breakdown, so hopefully that will be the key area. And then when you look at, obviously, France, they haven't really made any changes within that section, except for the number 6, who obviously they switched out for, and they have John at the moment, who's covering that 6 positions, so we'll see how he does there. And then obviously the 7 and 8, they haven't really changed. Obviously Charles Avion is still going to be captain inside, so he'll be fitting within that 7 position. And yeah, Gregory Alturet will also be within the 8. But overall, I'd probably edge it towards Ireland or France for that one. I'd probably edge it towards I'll give it to France, purely on the basis where I think they have 2 solid ones, while 2 solid players, and then really Ireland only have CJ Stander, who really brings that experience in. So moving on to the backs. You know, the backs is very interesting. Obviously, this is where Ireland has made one of their changes, and again, it's Conor Murray who's also out for this game. You know, he has a hamstring injury, so unfortunately he won't be able to play, and maybe for the remainder of the Six Nations, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, in his place, obviously, we do have Gibson Park, who is in his place, so hopefully he has a good game. We'll have to wait and see how he does. But you know, combining with him at the 10 spot, we also have another change with Billy Burns, who's actually covering for Johnny Sexton, who is another player similar to James Ryan, who's just not up to par or fitness for this game. So, it's a new combination at 9 and 10 for Ireland, so that kind of weakens them in that sense, but we'll have to wait and see how they do. You don't know, they could have a solid performance. But with the 9 and 10, for France they have Dupont and Jalbert, who were excellent, and just throughout the whole game, especially Dupont throughout that game against Italy, getting 4 try assists and 1 try to his name. So overall, solid, and Jalbert was very good with his team as well. So definitely an edge towards France in that section. So for the centers, I think it's pretty easy. I'm not going to say it's easy, but I think this will be probably the key battle within the match. I can say, you do have obviously Henshaw and Wingrose, who did very well in my opinion against Wales. I thought they were probably Ireland's 2 main players who really stood out within that game, particularly Henshaw to be honest. But they are going against Ficou, who I think is a very solid centre for France, obviously. And then his partner in crime is Vincent, who I think just was outstanding throughout the whole game against Italy within round 1. So this is actually a hard one, but I would edge it towards Ireland within this section, only because I thought the centres had a better performance, you could say, within that first game, and I just think they have a lot more experience. So that's kind of the reason why I've selected them. But obviously with the wingers is actually a very interesting one. Obviously with Ireland, Ireland they haven't really made many changes within the wingers. Obviously they still have James Lowe, who I thought was okay. He was solid. He had a few side steps within the first round, but other than that, had an average performance. And Keith Earls obviously was going to be there. So just 2 solid wingers for Ireland really. But then when you compare it to France, this is where France has actually made some changes. They obviously have Viller at the 11th spot, but then they have switched out Teddy Thomas for Anthony Padard. Not Anthony, but for Damien Padard. So he will definitely bring an extra. He'll bring a lot of aerial ability, you could say, to this French squad, which is what they'll need because it's the way that Ireland will play with kicking the high ball up. So I can see why they've switched out Teddy Thomas, even though he was pretty good within the first round. But obviously with the final position now, we do have Duran as the fullback for France, and then for Ireland we do have Guillen, but I'd probably edge it towards Duran, only because of it. I thought he was pretty solid throughout that first round, and he got a try to his name as well. And overall I just think the back line for France will be pretty strong within this match. But that's kind of it with the lineups, really. Other than that, for my prediction for the game, I would probably edge it towards France, purely on the basis of, Ireland kind of having a depleted squad in the sense, due to injuries as well as suspensions. But, overall, I'd probably say, for my score prediction, I would give it to, I'll say 28-14 to France. 28-14 to France will be the final prediction for this game. But anyway, hope you guys have a great day, and just comment below what you guys think about this game, and who do you guys think will win, and see you guys next time.